A little known fact is that plants don't really sell that great during summertime. Today we're going to break down why that might be and explain the seasonality month by month from our historical data of 7 years of selling plants. Then we're going to also overlay Google Trends search volume for houseplants as it goes through the season. And this will be for the United States, but it is applicable, that seasonality is applicable to other hemispheres and countries. Also, it's worth keeping in mind because I did include our actual sales data in dollars month over month, and then I averaged it across the months. Keep in mind it does result from different levels of input of effort, but it is across 7 years. So first up, we have January, of course. January is the month of change. It's the month of new year, new me, which is great usually for houseplant sales. And we have tried to take advantage of this many times through selling houseplants for the last few years. It's still really cold in a lot of the country, so it doesn't always translate to sales. As you can see in the Google search volume at 90 points out of 100, people are kind of like window shopping, if you will. People are looking for houseplants throughout the country and the world in January. But many times, at least in the US back east, it's too cold to have plants still. But California is buying plants. The West is buying plants. Don't try and ship any plants to Colorado or Denver in January or February because it will absolutely eat those boxes. We've done it many times accidentally. January overall can be a decent month. We're happy to have seen the holidays of December pass by, and we'll talk about that later, but mostly really excited for spring. That's my mentality, and that's usually what I'm thinking in the first month of the year. February is a tough month, but as you can see, actually from our sales data, our average February sells more than our average January, which is actually kind of shocking to me because it is a short month. It's my birthday month, but from a sales standpoint, it's cold as hell. And what I feel about February, not the data, people don't buy that much houseplants. It's one of the more rough months, and it hurts to run a plant shop in February. In winter, it just sucks. But here comes March. March is literally after like 5 months of what it feels like winter or cold fall, and I'm so happy every time March comes because March comes with a boom. I think mentally we all see the calendar click to March and we're like, it's springtime. It's pretty cold usually back east still, but mentally we're like, the days are getting longer. Technically, March 20th-ish is spring. So in our minds, we go to like, let's build an IKEA greenhouse cabinet. Let's like transplant plants. Let's start propagating, and the sales data shows that. I love selling plants in March. It's easy to do. All your plants should be ready. Your propagation should be ready. Your wholesale should be in the door. And the Google Trends also supports that. It's almost an even score at 89 and 94. They're really close there. March might have kicked off plant selling season, but April solidifies it as usually our best month on average. The trend volume of Google search volumes for the term houseplants comes in right up there, but seems to be climbing still a little bit more. But April historically is one of our best plant selling months of all time. April 2020, I distinctly remember as one of the best and hardest in terms of work, plant sales months of all time. April 2020. This is when you're putting in like 6 to 7 days a week of work. Your back is hurt because you're transplanting a bunch, you're shipping a bunch, it's long days, but the money is there as compared to the winter time. Selling plants is much like farming. You need to really hold your money when times are really good and save it. And then when times are tough and it's winter time and you need to really be careful with your money and hopefully burn down some of those savings that you saved up in the good times like April. Love April. According to the Google search volumes, May is the prime time of the most houseplant search volumes on the internet. Now, our sales data comes back down to 91. That might be a result of us just being really tired from April. There is that human element of our small business. I think a lot of people think like the May showers. I think of May flowers, and people are landscaping their garden. They're buying flowers for in their house, cut flowers. They're buying house plants, tomato plants. People are buying and selling and trading plants. This is like peak plant time of the year. It's warm. Everyone's home. Kids are still in school. Some will be like finishing college in May, and we're about to experience the summer slowdown. So in comes June with a shock to most newer or more naive plant sellers, people that haven't sold a lot of years of Junes This will be my 7th June or 8th June, this past June 2024 of selling plants. So every time June, July, August comes, I have to like remind myself that like, don't freak out. Things will get better. We'll see. But there's like a weird slowdown here, which you're not selling for the premiums that you were in April, May. You can pretty much list a plant for whatever you wanted in those months, and depending is, not being too high off, but if you're going to auction a high value plant, you want to do it in April or May because it's going to fetch the highest dollar. There's a lot of buyers in the market. That's going to create the highest demand for that plant. On the flip side, if you want to get a good deal, go to where we have low sales, like in that January or the cold times. Go buy your plants then. But June is when people go on vacation. Houseplant sales are directly related to how warm it is outside and how much people are at their house. So June is when people are beginning to prepare to take vacation, or some people are trying to beat the July-August rush of vacation season, and kids are at school. So us plant parents that have not just cool plant babies, but actual human babies, our kids come home from school and then we have to deal with them in our house. And if you're a parent of a human, you know what I'm talking about. They're on summer and you're trying to maybe go on vacation with them. And that leads into one of our busiest times in terms of vacation and slowdowns in plants, which is July. July sucks for selling plants, and it's counterintuitive because it's warm out, but it is just a struggle to sell plants. People are still looking at plants. Maybe they're on their smartphones on vacation, Googling plants or something, but people aren't spending their dollars. Again, of course, there's a behavioral aspect of my data being anecdotal from our plant shop only, but the sales data show there's a little summer slowdown. It's also July 4th, which just people have plans. They're out and about. They're vacationing on the weekends. They're out of town. So people aren't shipping plants to their house to where they're going to sit on the doorstep and maybe burn up in the heat. Also, it gets really hot in Texas. In the last 6 weeks, we've had a bunch of weather holds in Texas for it being just too hot to ship plants. So keep that in mind too. But in these summer slowdown months like July and August, you can get some really good deals on plants. July is one of those months to just not fight the market and be like water, my friend. Come August, the sales data and the Google Trends data actually crosses at this point. 87 or 88 points for each of them. August actually surprised me in the data because this past August, ending today's August 31st, 2024, August is just a month that feels slower, I guess. But kids are going back to school. My kids are back in school, which is great. And people are coming back from vacation. I came back from vacation about 10 days ago. I have neighbors that are coming back from vacation today and tomorrow. So a lot of people are out of town, but that means they're coming back home. It's still warm, so there's still hope for the rest of the year and the rest of the months. September is probably one of my second or third most favorite months to sell plants because it always surprises the hell out of me. The Google search volume is down a bit lower. I think that's from probably the colder regions, but if you're selling plants and willing to ship to all 50 states, you can still sell very well. As you can see from our sales score, I got a 92 here, which is the second best of the year. This is what I call the second hump. No, you have a dirty mind. It's March or April, and then it is September. This is the second biggest plant sales month. Typically for us, it could be a lot of extra effort on us. You could read it as that. But I also think that people that live in decent regions and they're plant nerds are coming back home to do some more transplanting, do some more propagating before winter sets in. And if you don't have kids and you just have plants or pets, it's something that people tend to do in their evenings or on their weekends. And when people aren't traveling, like in June, July, August, they're at home and it's still pretty warm. It's kind of the perfect temperature. I don't know if we've really ever lost a plant to weather in September. It's pretty rare because it's not too cold or it's not too hot. So it's kind of the perfect month. I also love me some fall because it's cozy season and I'm a fall bitch. October can be rough. October is what I mostly see as impending doom. That's how I feel shit, the year is over. I hope you did everything you wanted to do. It's almost time to start your propagations and your transplants, get your tissue culture in for the coming calendar year, because I think of Halloween as like the line in the sand for when plant sales really slow the hell down. Retail sales will still keep up pretty well in places like California, maybe Oregon and Washington, but it's getting pretty cold in most places by October. And wholesale is down, almost completely shut off by October. It's still a respectable 75 units of actually both metrics, but that's kind of lower than most of our average here throughout the year. But honestly, not as bad as November. November, if you think about it in your mind, it's kind of silly. I've thought about selling houseplants so much, and in the consumer's mind, November to me is Thanksgiving. It's being cozy. It's maybe going to the mountains, going snowboarding, being with family. I'm not really thinking that much about houseplants, and our sales numbers show that. And this is also a parity point with Google. 71 units and 71 units. Better than January and February for our sales, but still it just feels rough when you're going through it. I don't know how else to explain it, because you're probably pulling from your April sales money that you've hopefully saved up. And December is much of the same, except for those very smart partners of plant parents, and you get them something really cool for a gift, like a new plant or some fertilizer like Leaf Flux. This is our fertilizer that we've developed, and it's on Amazon Prime, and you should get it for your partner or for yourself. Treat yourself to a bottle of Leaf Flux fertilizer. It is one of the best fertilizers, and I'm looking at the reviews and the comments, and I'm making it better day by day and keep trying to make this the best fertilizer on the market. So thank you for the support. But the holidays, people travel, people are gone. I think of December and the whatever religion you're a part of or holidays you celebrate, you're probably out of town, or you're checked out, you're chilling at home, or you're watching movies, and it's cold as hell everywhere, just about everywhere. Even in LA, like last year, it got so damn cold. Sales score of 58. That is the worst of the year, and 61 in Google Trends. Also the worst for Google Trends. December absolutely sucks to sell plants. Don't try and force the market. Don't try and overdo it in December. It's just a tough time overall. And also money's tight. People are buying gifts for their friends and family, and they should be, honestly. We're spending less money probably on ourselves at that time and more on like food and experiences and things like that. If you found this video useful, please click the like button down below and consider buying our fertilizer on Amazon to support us, and clicking the subscribe button down below. It's free to you and it helps us out a whole bunch. We appreciate you so much for watching, and come back next week for another video about plants.